What is it that you love so deeply that you are willing to do anything for it? That is what I mean when I ask, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? As children, this question was simple. I want to be a firefighter because I want to help people. I want to be a vet because I want to help animals. As children, we have the audacity to dream big. No matter how ridiculous it sounded to adults, we wanted to do what we wanted to do. We actively and openly shared what we hoped we would be for the future. We were excited and hopeful. I don't think we realize this, but we actually ask, what do you want to be when you grow up, in 3 different stages of people's lives. Sometimes it's only 2 stages. The first is during childhood, obviously. We ask children what they want to be when they grow up to kind of see what their personality is, what they're passionate about, what they're excited about. But then that child grows up and they hit high school and they become a junior or a senior, and the question goes from, what do you want to be when you grow up, to, what do you want to do after high school? Do you want to go to college? If you're going to go to college, where are you going to go? What are you going to major in? What are you going to minor in? And for those of us who went to college or who are going to college, once you become a junior or a senior in college, you're asked, well, what are you going to do after college? What are you going to do when you graduate? Do you have a job lined up? My problem with these questions is that they lack the whimsy of, what do you want to be when you grow up? They lack the hope and the joy for the future. There's no bright future for us to look forward to, no joy, no whimsy, no big imaginations telling us that we can do anything. Instead, when we're asked, what are you going to do after high school? Or what are you going to do after college? The question is weighed down by adulthood. It's weighed down by the fact that we have to pay bills. We have to pay taxes. We have to go be a working member of society. When you are asked, what are you going to do after college or high school? It is not the same as when you are asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? So when I ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm not asking what you want to do to make money. I'm not asking you what you want to do to pay the bills. I am asking you, what are you most passionate about? What drives you to wake up every morning, to struggle through the day, and to go back to bed every night? What is it that you love so deeply that you are willing to do anything for it? That is what I mean when I ask, what do you want to do when you grow up? If you're a high schooler watching this right now, I'm sure you're in the stage of high school where they're like, do your SATs, do your ACTs, go take all of the tests, go apply to all of the colleges. You don't know what you want to do yet? You'll figure it out. And as someone who was there, I get it. It's stressful. I remember for the longest time, I was like, I'm not going to go to college. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go into debt for something that I might hate. I don't want to go into debt for something that I may not even use. It's scary. It's a scary thought that you can be thousands of dollars in debt and then not use what you got, not have a use for your degree. It's very unfortunate, really. But I want you to remember, whatever it is you pick now does not have to be what you do later. For example, I was a business major. I was supposed to go into business at my university, and then I did a little soul searching and I realized I don't like capitalism. And business is the capitalism degree. It's the degree that's like, this is how you best work capitalism. It took me a long time, and I didn't realize it until after I started my degree, but mass communication is my passion in like all of its forms. I love mass communication so much. And if you're watching this, you're probably thinking, well, You found your passion. How do I find mine? If you're someone who's often searching, trying to figure that out, what am I passionate about? How do I find my passion? How do I find my drive in life? If you're someone who's often looking for that, you've probably heard of the concept of ikigai. It's often accompanied by this chart, which is a Venn diagram of what you love, what makes money, what you're skilled at, and what people need. It's a Venn diagram. And your ikigai, the thing that drives your life, is the middle of that. Now, Mako on YouTube made a really good video about this concept of ikigai that we have, but I'm going to give you a brief summary. You should still go watch it. I'm going to put it in the description below. But the brief summary of why that concept of ikigai is not necessarily the best option for you to find your passion is because it's almost impossible. Finding your passion, trying to find something in this really weird, really niche sweet spot is going to be difficult. For me, I'm passionate about mass communication. I'm passionate about documentary. I'm passionate about a lot of different things. And a lot of those things, people will not pay you for. People won't pay you for it, and that's unfortunate. But that doesn't mean they're not worth doing, right? So we're going to take this concept of ikigai, and we're going to throw it away. It's good to find things you love, things that you're skilled at, and things that people need, but you can find those separately. You don't have to find the one thing that fits into that, the one thing that all of these things relate to, right? You may have a lot of things that you love, and you may have a lot of things that you're skilled at. That's what we want to focus on. So we come to the question, how do I find my passion? How do I find what I'm passionate about? And one thing that will help you in this adventure is to know your values. Now, I originally saw this exercise on a video by Simi Iriarte. I'm going to leave the video in the description because I think watching the whole video is worth it. But basically, this exercise is a values exercise. You take a list of values that you can just find on Google, and then you sort them into 3 different categories. Not important to me, kind of important to me, and very important to me. Now, it's really important to remember that you can only put 1/3 of these values into the very important to me pile. Otherwise, it's just kind of a mess, because then you have everything is important. And if everything is important, then nothing is important. So after you do that, from that very important to me pile, you want to sort it and you want to try and figure out what is your top 10. What are your top 10 values? And then from there, you start rating them against each other. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if that's in frame. But I had the 10 values of community, authenticity, creativity, growth, curiosity, resilience, independence, honesty, compassion, and open-mindedness. And I did exactly that. I went, is community more important to me than authenticity? If it was yes, I put a tally mark by community. If it was no, I put a tally mark by authenticity instead. And I just kept doing that until I had which ones had the most tally marks. And then I went and I defined what those 3 values meant to me. And I think just having very clear values, knowing exactly what you want, what is most important to you, is a massive step in trying to figure out what your passion is. Once you figure out your top 3, you have a much clearer path to follow. Now, there's another thing you need to keep in mind that I have kept in mind, and it has helped me immensely in my projects. A video by Struthless, I'm going to put it also in the description, basically explains how to set goals. And one of the things you need to keep in mind when you're setting those goals is following the fun. if you are doing something and you hate it, it makes you mad, it makes you stressed, and you're not excited to do it, why are you doing it? So, do your values list, but also follow the fun. See where that takes you and kind of just enjoy the ride for what it is. So now that we kind of know what our passion is, or we know in the vague area where our passion sits, how do I find a career? How do I find a job that I enjoy? We're not looking for, the gold at the end of the rainbow. We're looking for contentness in our modern society. So when you're looking for a job, you need to keep in mind the 3 P's: payment, project, and people. We're aiming for 2 out of the 3. That is what's going to make you content with your job. If you only have 1, you're not going to be happy with where you are, right? If you work a job, but you hate what you're doing and you hate the people you work with, it doesn't really matter how much you get paid. What do I mean when I say project? I mean, is this something you're passionate about? Retail is not something I'm passionate about. But if it pays me $15 an hour and I really like my coworkers, I'll do retail. I'm fine with that. Is it fulfilling for me? No, not necessarily. But it pays the bills and I'm okay with that. Knowing that kind of career does not fulfill me creatively or fulfill me passionately allows me to be like, okay, when I'm not at work, I need to be doing something that kind of fulfills me passionately. That's where I'm lacking in my life. For payment, sometimes you're willing to take a bad job because you love the people and you love the project. It's kind of it's this idea that my advertising teacher kind of taught me of like, sometimes you gotta eat dirt. And what I mean by that is sometimes you have to take jobs you don't like to get your foot in the door. So sometimes you don't get paid at all. Sometimes you get paid only a little. But if it means getting that connection, that really important connection that you can use later on in life, or if it means getting certain skills that you can use later on in life, go for it. I think it's worthy of getting jobs that don't necessarily pay you as much if it means you're working on something you love and you're working with people you love. And then obviously, people, I'm willing to work at a place where I don't really like the people. If the payment is really good and I really like the project, I can be friendly with people for good pay. And just remember to keep that in mind, because you don't want a job, I promise you don't want a job where every morning you're waking up screaming to yourself, you can't make me go. You can't. I had a job like that over the summer where they did not pay me enough and I hated the project. I worked at a car dealership and I hated working at the car dealership. So yeah, make sure in the little triangle of P's, you get at least 2. But that's all the advice I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like and the subscribe button. I try and post bi-weekly. Sometimes I do a little extra. Sometimes I forget. And that just happens. So let me know down in the comments, what is something you're passionate about? Or tell me what your 3 values are. I'd really like to know. And that's all for this time. I'll see you in the next video.